And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you're all getting me tonight. I hope you can hear me, and I hope that we're actually on the air. My name is Nicholas Viselli, and I am the artistic director of Theater Breaking Through Barriers. And yes, indeed, I am coming to you live and in person from right here, deep in the heart of the Thunderdome, right here in Midtown Manhattan. And on behalf of all of our artists and all of our wonderful supporters and friends, I would like to cordially welcome you to Theater Breaking Through Barriers' second hybrid Playmakers Intensive, or HPI 2, live and in person. And indeed, that is what we are tonight. I have to say before we start, we've been dealing with a lot of ghosts in the machine. We've been having a lot of technical issues tonight. Apparently, with all of the changes since we last met 14 months ago and a lot of software updates, the things have changed a little bit, and it's become a little bit more difficult to try to get the balance. So I hope we're finally there with this show. Fingers crossed. It's been, as I said, 14 months since we were able to connect with our first hybrid Playmakers Intensive, and I'm just so happy that we're able to do it again. We're still doing virtual work as well as live work because most theater companies said, okay, now that we're back online, we can abandon the lifeboat of virtual theater and just move forward. But what we learned in through the years of COVID when we started working virtually is how beneficial it is. It gives us so many wonderful opportunities to connect with artists wherever they are and in all parts of the world. We can work with a whole group of writers. Tonight's show is a perfect example of that. We have artists that are able to come in from Savannah, Georgia, North Carolina, Maryland, and different parts of the city. So even though we're in different places, we're still uniting to present this work to you. This is a really exciting intensive because we have created 11 brand new shows utilizing the talents of over 50 artists. So we hope that you will join us every evening. 7:30, we are doing a show on YouTube, and then supposed to be 8:30, but it's really late tonight here on Facebook. We'll be doing this every night until Saturday online. And then on Sunday, we go from the live, meaning the virtual live, to in person when we will be presenting five of the five other shows before a studio audience. And we will invite this audience to come in. And at the same time, we will have a camera and we will be streaming that entire evening to you. So you will get to see it all as well. All free of charge, either from your living room or from the actual studio. So thank you so much for being here. What we decided to do for this intensive, we decided to give this prompt to our writers regarding the breakdown in communication in our world today. Right now, I believe we have, with all of the incredible technology that has really allowed us to it's streamlined communication to make us so instantly able to talk to anyone at any given time through emails, through text messaging, through instant messaging. We can reach anybody at any time. So communication has never been more advanced. I have a device here where I can actually not only speak to someone, but I can see them as I'm talking to them. This is all, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, this was unheard of, but now it's happening, which is really incredible. Yet with all of this great technology, it feels that we are becoming more compartmentalized and disjointed, and our communication has become skewed. We're missing. It's become miscommunication. We've become so polarized and so divided. And I think in a time when we need each other more than ever, it's become harder to achieve that because of our lack of communication, or inability to connect. So we thought this would be a good topic to introduce to our writers who could riff on it either in a comedic way, a dramatic way, an absurdist way, however. And that is what we're going to be sharing with you. So we hope that you'll stay with us for every show to enjoy what we have for you. Before we begin, I'd like to have a little dedication. I don't normally dedicate our work, but I want to dedicate this intensive to two people. 2 days ago, September 20th, marked the birthday of TBTB's founding artistic director, Ike Shamblin. Ike founded this company back in 1979 as Theater by the Blind. It was his idea at that time to create a company of integrated artists, integrating blind, low vision, and sighted artists together on stage to create professional theater, where in that case, where blindness did not matter. And it became about the art and the creation of art as a team of equal artists. And it was at the time revolutionary, because most people, when they hear disabled and theater, they think of anything but professional. And so it was because of Ike's inspiration that this company was born. So we need to celebrate and honor his birth. He passed away in 2015, and had he lived, he would be 84 years old. So we have to say happy birthday to Ike, and thank you for creating this company and allowing us to continue to grow and build. If you only knew how far we've come, he would be so pleased, because I know that TBTB had at least a small hand in helping to move us along, and we have a great long way to go. The second person I would like to dedicate this intensive to on behalf of all of our artists is one of our dearest and one of our most loyal supporters of our work, Rose Mazzarella. Rose, about 12 days ago, passed away, but she was a devoted and devout fan of TBTB. She saw her first TBTB production back in, I think, 1997, after her son had gotten involved with the company, and she then subsequently saw practically every production since. She had supported us financially. She donated to our work every year, but she sort of became a fixture at all of our shows, and so many of our artists got to know her because of her love and appreciation for this work. So we will miss Rose and hope that she's looking down and is able to see this and all of our future work as well. As I said, she got involved when her son got involved. So on behalf of her, Rose, I happen to be the son. She was my mother. And so I would love to be able to dedicate the work that we are going to be presenting over the next week and beyond to her and to Ike Shamblin. So we hope you'll enjoy it as well. Tonight we have a really wonderful show. It was this really great play written by a very, very dear friend of mine. I've known Elise Allen for many, many years. Such an incredible writer. She was a New York Times bestseller. She is an Emmy nominated artist, and we are working with her. What a great honor. She wrote this really incredible play, and we hope you will enjoy it. The play is called It's Just Not Cricket. It was directed to perfection by one of our beloved artists, and another one of my dearest friends, Richard Rose. And it stars one home run after another: Stephen Drabicki, David Harrell, and Keith Murfee DeConcini. So, ladies and gentlemen, no more talk. Sit back, relax, and on this opening night of Live and in Person, we hope you will enjoy Elise Allen's It's Just Not Cricket.
I'm going to introduce the characters. The play is It's Just Not Cricket, written by Elise Allen. The play will open up with Michael.
Hi, I'm Stephen Drabicki. I play Michael. I am a white male in his 30s, early 40s. I have a nose piercing, pierced ears, and I'm wearing hearing aids. I'm also deaf. And what else? I am wearing a red tie with white stripes, a blue shirt with red flowers, and I am in the middle of my nice home with a pile of unopened gifts and a bottle of wine next to me.
Next, I'd like to introduce Sam.
Hi, I'm David Harrell. I'm playing Sam. I am a white male in their mid 40s. I have short black hair with gray at the temple. I am in a location that seems very put together. One may think they would be thinking correctly. It is a hotel room. I am wearing a pressed blue button down with a black and blue matching tie.
Next, I would like to introduce Cricket.
Hello, my name is Kid Murfee DeConcini. I play Cricket. I'm a male in his late 30s. I have on glasses. I have on a burgundy dress shirt with a snap over jacket. I have blonde curly hair. I'm wearing a tie-dye tie, and I have antler ears on my head.
A Zoom box clicks to life. It's Michael. He's in his early 40s and he looks like a creative spirit. He's in his home and seems a little stressed as he sits at his computer screen. He shakes out his hands, he rolls his neck, and then, with a large flourish, clicks in Sam in another Zoom window. Sam is in his mid-40s and looks very buttoned down, very professional. The room where he sits is neat and devoid of true personal touches. It won't surprise you to learn that he's in a hotel.
Sammy, welcome.
Yeah, Michael, I told you this wasn't a good time. I've got like 20 minutes.
Right. Accounting conference, and there's no accounting for it if you're late, right?
Michael.
Okay. But this is good. It's our 12-year dating anniversary, and even though you're not home, I wanted to do something special to celebrate. So,
With a giddy flourish, Michael taps his trackpad to open another Zoom window containing Cricket.
Hey!
Hey!
do you see, Sam? It's Cricket from Beat You to It.
That's right. And I know I'm a bit older than I was then, but maybe this will help you remember.
He gives an over-the-top sitcom pouty look and twists a finger into his cheek.
Did Cricket do that?
Cricket.
Yeah. You told me you loved watching him as a kid, so I found him on Cameo Live. And here he is.
Here I am. A little less and maybe a bit more
No, Cricket. It's all but this is just so unexpected.
That's what makes it so special. But Sam, your husband Michael is taking it to the next level to show you how much he listens and cares. He's asked me to take you on a musical tour of your life.
Sam looks at
my
his watch.
life. Look, it's the clock is ticking, and I have.
It's not your whole life. Just some fun highlights. Hit it, Cricket.
Hey, hey, let's play, play. We start where you were born, a little town called Santa Fe. My old friend, I can spend my whole life dreaming, though I know it's all I seemed inclined to do.
Yes, Cricket, yes.
Thank you, but that's just the beginning. Next, Sam, you move to a new town, and in 6th grade, you meet your very first puppy love boyfriend, Kyle, and you fell hard. There was love all around, but you never heard it singing. No, you never heard it at all until there was Kyle.
That's wow. That's weirdly specific detail about my life. But time, get the meaning.
Well aware. And I promise you're good if you just relax and enjoy.
Next up, high school and athletics. Your proud family would sit in the stands and go, "We're sitting and watching Sammy play baseball. We're watching Sammy play baseball. We're watching Jewish boys who cannot play baseball play baseball."
Cannot play baseball. Well, I might take umbrage to that.
Umbrage. Nice one. Oh, you can use that in your next Words with Friends game. Keep it going, Cricket.
Just a second. I lost your email with the tablets. Ah, got it. Okay. Then you went to the University of Wisconsin, where you loved it so much. You wish you could go back to college. In college, you know who you are. You sit on the quad and think, "Oh my God, I am totally gonna go for."
Okay. All right, I'm in. Give me what's next.
Oh, I think you know what's next. After graduation, you meet Paul online and move to New York City to be with him, only to break up with him when he got a job with the touring company of "Do You Hear the People Sing? Sing the song of angry men. It is the music of the people who will not be slaves again. When the beating of your heart echoes the beating of the drums, there is a life about to start when tomorrow comes."
Will you join in our crusade? Who will be strong and stand with me? Beyond the barricade, is there a world you long to see?
Then join in the fight that will give you the right to be free.
Do you hear the people say, "Sing the song of angry men"? It hear the music of the people, gonna be slaves again when the beating of the heart, the beating of the drums. There is a life about to start when tomorrow comes.
And shortly after that, you met me, which concludes our musical anniversary tour of your sadly pre-Michael life.
Amazing. Really, really excellent. Thank you, sweetie. And thank you, Cricket.
No problem. Want to take a screenshot while we have the Zoom going? Get ready, cuz here it comes. Did Cricket do that?
Okay, did you get that? Cause I gotta go.
Oh, I know you gotta go. And I know why. I know it's not a real meeting.
What are you talking about?
Your meeting. It's with Manny. He's gonna knock on your door in like 5 minutes. And it's not for CPA business.
What are you saying?
Are we still doing the screenshot thing? Did you get it, or should we all pose again?
You think I haven't noticed how checked out you've been? You come home, go right to your computer. We eat dinner, and you pull out your phone. You answer emails. You bury your face in the news, and then by the time
talk to you about the news,
you talk at me about the news. There's no back and forth. And after dinner, you're back on the computer. Or if you deign to sit on the couch with me and watch a show, you're not engaged. You're still scrolling.
Well, I'm not going to be engaged if we're watching The Real Housewives. Okay? I'm sitting next to you. I am there.
Yes! There! All the way at the other end of the couch, where I can't see your screen or your little smile when you think I'm not looking.
Michael, I need to go.
So I looked into it. I found your passwords. I logged on as you to everything. I watched. I saw you'd reconnected with Manny. I saw your chats, saw you whine about how distant we were and how lonely it was in your marriage. I saw when you told him about your conference and when he could meet you at your hotel room.
And you didn't say anything?
No. I waited for months. Just sat back and kept watching and reading to see if you would really go through with it. And you are behind my back. Even though I'm the guy who loved you and knows you so well, I can get your favorite dumb-ass sitcom star to recite every ridiculously minute detail about your whole fucking life story.
Hold on, dumbass.
But you got it all wrong, Mikey. This whole thing, you didn't get one fact right. I was born in San Jose, not Santa Fe. My elementary school girlfriend was named Kim, not Kyle. I played high school basketball. I went to Chapel Hill for college. And I didn't break up with Paul because he went on tour with Les Mis. It was because he moved back to Nebraska to be with his mom, who had cancer. And Cricket, I wasn't allowed to watch TV as a kid. I never heard of him.
Excuse me?
And it's not even our dating anniversary, good sir. We started dating in June.
Really? Are you sure?
You don't listen. Not to me. You say I'm on the phone all the time. Well, that's the only place that I can actually talk about anything real. Jesus, months. You knew for months that I was unhappy and you didn't do anything. You just lurked and plotted. It did this? It was right here, Michael. It was right here.
Seriously? You must have at least heard of me. I was everywhere. I was on lunch boxes.
We hear a knock coming from Sam's Zoom box.
Did I get that?
No, no. Sam, don't. We can be better. I can be better. Please.
We hear the knock again.
I'm going to get that.
He clicks off and his Zoom box goes away. Now it's just Cricket and Michael.
Did Cricket do that? Okay, so you went over by like 5 minutes. That's $200. I'll charge the card on file, okay? Okay.
Michael clicks off his Zoom box, goes away, leaving only Cricket, who shrugs.
Okay.
And as he tosses another handful of popcorn into his mouth, he clicks off and his Zoom box goes away too.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. Come on back, everyone. Let's talk, shall we? What a wonderful piece this is. Really, really powerful. And I love the arc of it. Such great, thank you all so much. David, Stephen, Keith, Richard, and Elise. Elise.
You guys were amazing.
Elise, well, you know, the great thing about theater, and this is a form of theater. It's not, you know, it all starts with the word. It starts with the script and the story and how this story evolves. And what I love about this little piece, this short little play that most people say, you can't really create rich, full characters in 10 or 12 minutes or whatever. This proves it wrong, okay? Because you've got this, you see this arc, and you see this piece that starts out as being like really crazy and silly and funny, and then it just shifts into something that becomes very real, like serious, and it just addresses, it cuts right to the heart of the matter of exactly what we're trying to explore in this series of plays. And I want to I'm gonna come to you last, Elise, because I always start with the writer. I want to start with Richard as the director. Richard, you were involved in this process from the beginning. And again, just to refresh anyone's memory who's watching that may have seen this before, or if you haven't seen this before, when we start this project, we gather a group of artists together. We usually will gather together a group of, in this case, 11 writers, 11 directors, and a whole as many actors as we can get. And everyone's randomly paired together. The name of a writer is drawn, the name of a director is drawn, and then the names of, in this case, 3 actors are drawn, and that becomes one group. There's no stacking the deck. No one knows who they're going to be working with, or what is going to come out of this. And we always tell the writers, don't come in with a pre-written script, because since you don't know who you're going to be working with, you can't really try to, readjust it or reform it. Allow the talent and the collaboration of the group. Let that dictate how the work grows and evolves.
Nick, I think you stacked the deck, because
Oh,
since I've been doing this, I've been working with the best writers and the best actors.
Well, thank you. Yes, I will admit, in all fairness, I do stack the deck, and stacking that deck means I want to get the best and most gifted artists that we have, and that is what matters to me more than anything. So
No, the process is really a great way of doing it, because it's very true. Nick just randomly grabs a hat, and out comes a writer, just randomly. Out comes in another hat, a director, and out comes three actors. And it speaks to the core talent of those people who work with Nick and work with TBTB, specifically TBTB, because the core talent, I think, is very good. Look, I'm talking about me as a director, and I don't mean to. I am talking about the writers and the actors, in case I haven't made that clear. Working with Elise was absolutely incredible. It turns out Elise and I met several years ago, and actually, Elise, I think I brought you into that company, didn't I? Was I one of the people who brought you into that company? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's where we all met, Richard. That was back in 1980. Yeah, long time.
Back in don't say the year. So anyway, when I got matched up with Elise, it was really, really terrific. And then we drew Stephen, David, and Keith's hat. I've worked with Keith at least twice, maybe three times, I think. Stephen at least once, but I've known Stephen for several years, and David at least once, and really, really terrific work from both Stephen and David. And so this was really a match made in heaven. And then we all just chatted like we always do. We get in a breakout room and we just talk. And Keith, without letting the cat out of the bag, said, "You know what, Richard, you've directed me. I've done Shakespeare with you, Richard. I've done the drama with you, Richard. I did a comedy with you, Richard. When are you going to direct me in a musical?" And he directed that to me. Elise picked up on it. She's like, "Keith, will you elaborate? Right? Am I right about that?" And Keith just, "Yeah, I really want to do a musical, but I don't know if it works at this time." Well, look what happened. So.
Yeah, there you go. See, don't wish for something too hard there, Keith. You may get it. I'm just, what I'd really be curious about, I mean, we've talked in the last, when we did the first performance, on YouTube, about how some of the ideas, at least managed to extract some of the ideas and some of the things you all talked about to help weave that together to help create this piece. I'm curious about what it was like the first time you read it. And I want to ask each of you guys what, based on your first meeting, and then after getting the first draft of this play, what were your initial thoughts and impact, what did you think about this? I'm curious to know your individual thoughts and impressions, not only of this work, but of what this work is trying to, what this work says, or what it emphasizes in relation to the chief prompt. Let me ask you first, David.
Funny story, Elise's original email went to my junk folder, so I didn't have the script and where it said who the characters were. So there was like a chain that started, and I got like something from Richard or something else, and it was like in that like reply. So I honestly read it the first time, not exactly knowing who I was, and then I had to our first read through. I was driving to work down in Florida, so I was like literally in a car. My wife was really mad at everybody, just so you guys know, that because she had to drive the first bit through I-95. She doesn't like any of you. And but I love it because, you know, when I read it, so then I was embarrassed because like I like Elise came on like the Zoom first, and I was like, I'm just curious, like, who am I reading? And but then I was cleaning out my junk folder and saw that she had actually emailed and put that in the email. But my first impression was, you know, again, how you know, I love playwrights who are taking this on. Like you said, Nick, we're kind of coming back into a real world. And, you know, when the pandemic hit us and we were all trying to figure out like what to do, we kind of created this sort of interesting way to connect. And it brought us in this weird way together. And playwrights did begin to think like, how can I write to this sort of medium? Because I think trying to do something that's not in Zoom when you're doing it in Zoom is really, really tricky and really difficult. So it's what I love is a playwright trying to figure out how to tell a story through this medium, and all the variety that we've seen over these different groupings that we've had over the last few years. And so to come back to how this has just become part of our vernacular and part of the way that we do connect and communicate in this strange, weird way now. But yet the humanity of it is hard and more difficult. And I do think what Elise did such a great job with articulating was this sense of, you know, how we are right there with each other sometimes, how we're sitting next to each other, how we're literally at dinner together, and we just aren't there. And how I think, you know, for me, over the last year or two, you know, or really, you know, having to sort of uproot my life and kind of move and sort of create this whole new chapter. I think one of the things I have been trying to do is just to be more intentional with people. And I think what this play does is just, it really, it was really nice to kind of remind me that I have to do that's an active thing for us to do, is to be intentional and connect with our loved ones and connect with others in a very intentional way, more than ever now. That we've taken that for granted. And again, you know, it's just a beautiful, funny thing that turns into a very, very sad ending, because, you know, this relationship ends because of not being able to communicate, and somebody thinking that, you know, something else is better than what they already have, when, you know, they've lost that sense of connection. So for me, that's kind of the first impulse that I really, really thought she got. I was a little concerned with us all singing musicals together. How's that going to happen on Zoom? But I didn't realize that the technology has improved a little bit. So
Yeah.
So that was fun.
And even without that, I mean, again, if you're off at all, it's okay. That to me works, especially because in what we're trying to do here, it just sort of does show a dissonance. It demonstrates it in a very real way that an audience might say, "Oh, they're off," and it's like, right, but do you realize what you're saying? They're off, and that is the essence of what this is.
That was something we spoke about in the rehearsal. What we just didn't want to do was, you know how it is when multiple people are talking and it cuts everybody off, or one
Yeah.
person you only hear and the rest. So I needed to make the adjustments for Zoom for musicians, and that worked. But it was really important. We did state that very early, that I didn't really want them to be on. I wanted them to be close. But the whole aspect is Cricket isn't listening to these guys.
Nope.
Sam isn't listening to Michael. Michael isn't listening to him. None of them are listening. And Michael instead, Michael, I don't want to put words in your mouth. You're going to say something. Michael instead of talking,
Mhm.
is breaking into his passwords and breaking into his account. So that's the way we communicate. That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's very true, and it's real. I mean, it's real. Oh, so I just think it just stirs up so many things, which I think will reverberate with anyone that has the chance to experience this work. Before I ask you, Stephen, I just want to give a plug, David, to you. I know you're doing a lot of work. You're doing a lot of touring with your own one-person shows, I should say. But you're also working with Camp No Limits. And can you just tell us a little about that? Because I think it's such incredible, important work.
Yeah, so I am a congenital amputee of firstborn limb difference. So Camp No Limits is a camp for kids with limb difference and limb loss. We do camps across the country. We started in 2004, so this is the 20th year of Camp No Limits. It started with 4 families and has grown to this year. We're doing 13 camps around the country, and we service hundreds of families every year. So it was something that I volunteered to do, and then I kind of, helped a little bit and kind of tried to fit it into my schedule in terms of performance. But it's been sort of a kind of a flip a little bit. So I'm not, the performances is aspects that I do are not as much as working with this organization, but it's an organization I'm very proud of. A lot of work I did in New York was advocacy of disability in a broad sense, disability in arts, and arts inclusion, things like that. So this sort of fits within passions that I have, but it's great to be with kids who are like me, or kids who are going through life being a little bit different, and figuring out how to build resilience and just actually honestly just be kids and have fun and do that. So it's a lot
Yeah,
of fun.
I love it. I think it's so important. Again, the idea of just trying to instill in the idea that the world is always going to set limits on us in every way, whether you have a disability or not. There's always limits that are placed upon us, and it's up to us to try to reach beyond that. And I know that when you are because of uh, the stigmas that are attached to disability in our world, it's a harder barrier to break through a lot of times, because people tend to just make a judgment based on what they see rather than seeing the person, seeing the humanity, and realizing that a disability is just one aspect, one element in a much bigger mosaic, and that becomes the importance and the essence of, once again, being able to interface and connect and to see yourself reflected in the person standing opposite you, and knowing that you are all, in spite of all your differences, the same. And that's something that I think so many of us have never had that opportunity, or have not learned that and need to. So it's beautiful. That's wonderful work that you're doing, and thank you for everything. Stephen, let's talk to you. How
Yeah.
did this play resonate with you?
Oh gosh. Well, it just shows how relationships are tricky. And sometimes you think you know a person, or but you only know the version of them that you create in your own head. So I see this in this couple where we've created our own versions of our relationship, but they're not really matching and they're not really syncing up, obviously. Um, and my character gets really embarrassed, honestly, after trying to set him up, trying to catch him in this affair in front of his childhood favorite sitcom actor. I mess it up, and it's revealed that yeah, I don't even listen to my own husband,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so we both just live in our own little world. So that was interesting to play with.
Mm-hmm.
And, I during the rehearsal, the very brief rehearsal process, I tried to play with how much did Michael really plan
Mm-hmm.
for this meeting to happen, and what did I really expect for the end result to be? Did I expect us to stay together, or did I expect us to break up?
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting playing with that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. It just seems, I mean, this whole buildup of just trying to catch him in this lie, this web of deceit, only to realize that while that may be true, so much of what you thought you knew was not not accurate. It was not correct. And yeah, it just speaks volumes. And again, so beautifully played, both of you. You know, the dynamics of your relationships were just beautifully portrayed and balanced. So thank you for that. And then on the opposite end of that, we've got a good old Cricket who just beams in, who's just in his own little orbit. You know, he's making his money. And how I'm curious how many times like Cricket does this in a day. You know, how many times does he do this? Uh, how old was he when he did the whole did Cricket do that? And now and that's what you're trading on as an older man now. Uh, it's sad and yet very funny. What do you think, Keith? Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, that character wasn't a stretch. I just got to play the most egotistical, bombastic version of myself, and I got to do it for days and days and days on end. And you get to pay me to just be the most audacious version of myself. But no, it was musicals. I've always felt at home in viewing and fawning over musicals. And so to finally get cast in one opposite amazing actors where my character couldn't care less about these two. I just want my paycheck, and that's all I want.
Mm.
And so to get to belt out show tunes, I mean the only improvement, more show tunes. Just I need that. Me belting out show tunes was really the only mode of the character. You get to see when I'm not singing, I don't know what I'm doing. I try to relate to these people, but I just bring them back to me. Cricket is the most happy when he's able to take Sam on this musical tour throughout his life. But when that's over, I'm clamoring. I'm a jug. I'm eating popcorn, watching this marriage humble on Cameo Live. And so it, it was just an absolute joy to have the excuse to watch musical after musical, sing my heart out, and just be able to use my out of tune voice over the top without fear. And I got to work with an old friend, Richard. I got to meet 3 incredible new friends who I'm all fans for life of. And I mean, the hybrid nature, the first Zoom play I did, I acted opposite a actor in France. One of the later plays I acted opposite a actor in London. You cannot do that in the same room. And so Zoom and utilizing it like TBTB has, we've not only become a national company, we're now an international company, and you get to pull actors, writers, directors in from all over the world, and that's the most amazing thing. It's the next evolution of theater, and I just am very glad I get to be along for the ride with the people I get to work with, who I get to walk in the footsteps of giants every single time. It just amazes me the amount of opportunity that you, Nick, continue from our founder, Ike, and both he and your mother would be absolutely ecstatic with everything you have done and continue to do so fearlessly with the team you've assembled, and how you take us all and make us and encourage us to be better performers.
Keith, thank you for that. I mean, I feel very honored, but I think most importantly, it's something that I feel we must do. You know, it's always that idea of, I always felt that theater was not only an expression of the human condition, but it it connects us, it unifies us. In many ways, it teaches us, but it also lifts us spiritually. And this is the only, this is a medium that I feel we can change the world. We can create an impact on individuals on a very personal level. So that is something that you should not take lightly. It's something that you should accept as a great responsibility and a great joy to be a communicator, a storyteller, and it's why we are all doing what we do. So thank you, Elise. You are a magnificent storyteller. I am, I just am so incredibly moved with the way you were able to not only create this play, but to juxtapose this crazy, absurdist, ridiculous opening premise to and then to see it shift into something very, very real and very, very serious, and to leave us with this sort of gut punch.
Yeah, the shift to me, like that's all the, I mean, yes, it's written there, but that's all about the directing and the performance, and you guys just knocked it out of the park. I mean, I felt it when the change came, when that changed to Michael's admitting what he's really doing, and then when David's saying, I'm gonna get that. Brutal. So like it was really well done.
Oh, it's incredible. And then suddenly the silliness of what it was in the beginning becomes, in many ways, just it's all stripped away. It now becomes very that's garish, and everything else becomes it just is revealed to be a tragedy in disguise. So that's good writing. That's really, really great writing. These artists, as wonderful and gifted as they all are, could not get there without a story and a script to drive that. So thank you for that. I hope you will work with us again. I'm just so honored. So thank you.
No, I loved everything about this. I'm so thrilled I got the opportunity. It's an honor. It's an honor to work with all of you. This was amazing.
Oh, thank you, Elise.
The echo is gone. Amazing.
Yeah, and the echo is gone. So we solved one problem, folks, and I guarantee you that we will continue solving problems throughout the rest of these next this few days. So thank you. I want to thank you all so much for taking the time to tune in. I apologize that we started late and now we ran late, but you got to give us the fact we got to run late if we're going to start late. So thank you for that. I hope that you will continue to join us tomorrow. We have another wonderful, wonderful play and another very challenging play on a very different level. This play was written by Peter Mark. Pete is another incredible artist. I think of Pete in many ways as a Renaissance man because he does everything. He's been working with TBTB. I don't even want to say how long because he'd get mad at me. He'd say like, all right, man, you're dating me. You're making me feel like I'm an old man. He's worked with TBTB a long time, okay? As a writer, as a musician, he is also, he's a computer guy. He builds his own computers. He does everything. He wrote a wonderful piece called Telegraph Wire and the Fable of the Flagman. And that will be coming on tomorrow night, 7:30 on YouTube, 8:30 right here on Facebook. The play was directed, it will be directed by Tamar Kummel. Tamar, boy, oh boy, what an amazing artist she is. And she's doing several projects with us in this intensive. And we have, again, another stellar cast. Shravan Amin, Ben Rausch, and of course, Jack Sims, the great Jack Sims. So we hope you'll join us. On behalf of all of our incredible artists that are all scattered all over the place, in Maryland, in North Carolina, in Savannah, up in West Haven, Connecticut. Elise, where are you?
I mean, I'm out in the suburbs. I'm in Briarcliff Manor.
Okay, there you go. And of course in the heart of the Thunderdome right here in Midtown Manhattan. I'm Nicholas Viselli. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow evening. Have a wonderful night, all. Who's the one with the balloons? Who's doing the balloons? Good night, all.